How do you feel about a 4-day workweek? I would probably hate Mondays less. Life would be that much better. I would have somewhere around 50 extra days a year to do all the yard work and home projects that I don't want to spend all weekend doing. My company switched to 4 10-hour days. We are diesel technicians and work 7 to 5:30. Half of us work Monday through Thursday and the other half work Tuesday through Friday. We have did this for over 2 years and we all love it. It is so nice to have a 3-day weekend every week. Another thing about it that is nice is if you doctor's appointment or something, I can make it on a Monday and don't have to miss any work. Plus I forgot to mention having a 2-month. This helps out a ton. More time for me to be with my wife and daughter. And if there's a lot to do, I can just come in on Monday and boom, 10 hours of overtime. Provided there's no drop in salary. Ducking brilliant. My employer gives us every other Friday off. We work 80 hours over 9 days, MTH. It's really helpful to have those Fridays to schedule appointments, and I have less desire to burn PTO throughout the year just to take a much-needed Friday off. Through the end of October, I had only used 2.5 PTO hours for the year, mostly for doctor's visits. The only real downside is that on the Fridays that we do work, nobody wants to do anything. I would gladly work 4 10-hour days to have an extra day off. 2-day weekends are too short. They're gone just as soon as you start to feel comfortable. Working a 5-day workweek just makes life seem so much more pointless. By the time I get the other things I need to do, grocery shopping, appointments, etc., done, it's Sunday night. A 4-day workweek might give me time to play the piano I bought to combat depression. #X200B, edit, thanks for all the love guys. I really needed it. Think it makes sense. All the evidence suggests it works, and the welfare benefits would be enormous. Edit, this took off a little more than I expected. Thanks for the cake day well wishes. Whilst I'm here, here's a couple of news stories about the research and articles about 4-day weeks. New Zealand trial https www.google.co.uk/samp.theguardian.com. In a 2019 Feb 19 4-day week trial study finds lower stress but no cut in output. Short-term trial by Microsoft https www.google.co.uk/swu.marketwatch.com. App Story Guide 46 DF7C05D8B44F18CB87A8 30504A7B. Also, how do you feel about UP asking questions that they know for a fact that virtually all Reddit agrees on but asks anyway for karma and attention? They talked about this in the 70s. Yay, everyone said. My dad did it. He worked 4 12+ hour days and took off Friday. Everyone else was like, if I worked the 12 hours the 4 days plus another 12, I can make even more money. Yay. Given that we now have more people in the workforce and supposedly more productivity because of automation, we ought to be dropping down to 32-hour weeks to compensate for the changes in our household structures. I work 4 10s a week instead of the usual 8 5s and I ducking love it. 2 extra hours each shift is easily worth the 3-day weekend. Feel like I actually get a break from work each week. In terms of climate change, it'd be about 20% less CO2 emissions from commuters, which is nice. I not only think it would be great, I think we should go further and eliminate required work hours for certain jobs altogether. Most office jobs can easily be done from home with a phone and a working internet connection. There's no reason to force people to commute and sit on a cubicle for hours and hours every week just so bosses can make sure they're working. That's 1919 thinking, not 2019 thinking. When you hire me, you should pay me X amount of dollars for Y amount of work. Whether it takes me 12 hours a week or 54 hours a week to get it done, my salary X never changes. And any free time is my own. Used to do a 12-hour day 3 days a week. It was glorious. As long as it is 4 to 8 hour days with no change in pay, I can get the same amount of work done in 32 hours as I get done in 40. 0 days will be better, but this is also an improvement. I'd kinda rather just not work at all. Reddit, how do you feel? Popular Reddit belief. Wait, all of you love it, what a surprise. I think it's less about 4-day work weeks, but more about work-life balance. For people that's already working more than 10 hours a day or no pay overtimes or working during holidays, working 4 days a week means very little. My BF works 4/10s and it's a total game changer. It's adjusted his schedule so he wakes up at earlier hours on his days off, which gives him more day in his day, on top of already having an extra one. I'm self-employed and I try to have all my work done by Fridays, so we usually get 3-day weekends together, which also makes taking short trips easier without missing any work. It also opens up a weekday for him to do certain things that have more limited hours on weekends, like appointments and whatnot. Edit, typo. It wouldn't work for me. I work at an animal hospital, open 7 days a week, and Terry's not enough of us to go around. And the company would never hire enough people to cover for a 4-day work week. I feel that 3 days off in a row actually feels like 2 days off. And 2 days of in a row actually feels like 1 day off. Bored. Honestly, my work is my passion. Got all your work done? Yup. We expecting any more to come in today? Nope. Anything else you can help on? Nope. Okay, see you tomorrow. These should be our workdays. This keeps coming up, and I'll keep getting buried, but I will keep saying it. A 4-day work week should be 4/8s, not 4/10s. For some people 4/10s is better than 5/8s, and that's fine. But nearly every study on productivity, happiness, flexibility, revenue, etc. that deals with a 4-day work week studies 4/8s, not 4/10s. The entire theory is that 40-hour work weeks are excessive for many modern jobs. Cramming the same hours into fewer days completely misses the point. I would do some or all of the following: cook more, play more competitive video games, join a band, play dodgeball, go to the doctor, dentist once in a while, travel out of state more often. As long as the pay still matches what I make now and I do have to work longer hours, I'd be thrilled. I absolutely support it. Terry's so much evidence that backs the benefits up, but agree with the comments about lower paid workers just working more at other jobs. This system is good in theory for salaried workers, but not so much for hourlies, unless their wages were adjusted accordingly. I also think it would affect newer members entering the workforce. It's illegal to roll someone's pay back for doing the same job they've always done. In my country at least, some conditions may apply, but what's to stop companies from hiring new entry levels at a percentage less? There would have to be regulation and laws against it. Cost of living doesn't go down just because your hours do. I've been dreaming about everyone, besides emergency responders OFC, having Wednesdays consistently off. That would be an absolute dream, and the health benefits of it, mentally as well as physically, would be well worth it, even to employers, even if they don't try to force their employees to make up for that time by working longer on other days. I believe that in many professions, the profits that are lost by giving people another day off midweek would more than pay for themselves in employee satisfaction, loyalty, motivation, and less need for medical leave. I have thoughts on emergency responders and businesses that organize themselves around people having free time too, but yeah. Let it be just said that there are very, very few people in the world who truly need to go shopping at 8 p.m. on a Saturday. I loved working 4 10-hour shifts. It was perfect. Not too long, but you get an extra day off. Love, love, love. I used to have one at Ford, Until my plant got rid of the whole shift. Not I have a 6-day work week, morale is at an all-time low, and I'm going to start looking for a better job. 32-hour work week. Let people fill it how they want. Tax automation. Ensure basic human needs met with tax income. I'm self-employed, so I guess it would mean more people everywhere on a Friday, which I would hate, so I vote no. Not as great as a 0-day work week, but I'd still feel pretty good.